I am thrilled to have Gavin here today. I've known Gavin for many years, have been in awe of his education, his smarts, his street savvy, everything about that. In marketing, in senior care, that kind of thing. He's very, very well connected. I'll be professional and read his bio, but anyway, I'm really excited. Gavin Densmore is founder and CEO of Home Care Seminars, LLC, along with Helping Hands of America, LLC, Raleigh, North Carolina's oldest senior care agency, a local niche patient-centric service provider to individuals living in the Triangle of North Carolina. Mr. Densmore has over 30 years of comprehensive sales and marketing experience, including over 14 years of operational home care experience. He holds both undergraduate and graduate degrees in marketing. Mr. Densmore is active in many business and industry associations. He's a member of the Raleigh Chamber of Commerce and has served on the board for the Alzheimer's Association Eastern North Carolina Chapter Memory Walk. His home care agency is the agency of choice for the state of NC, Duke University and Duke Medical, UNC and UNC Healthcare, Lake Med Hospital, Rex Hospital, Duke Raleigh Community Hospital, and Duke Energy. He has been invited guest speaker at several industry conferences and recipient of numerous rewards and recognitions. So he's going to be talking about some things that we've talked about before that a lot of us have said, I need some help with this. So elevator pitch, relationship marketing, and word of mouth. Because some of your best referrals can come from word of mouth. So without further ado, I will introduce Gavin Densmore, and I will try to get out of your way quickly. He's got some handouts I'll pass out as well.
Thank you very much, Ann.
You're welcome.
And thank you to Pat for putting this together along with Ann. All of that bio is wonderful, and it still won't give me a cup of coffee. So, sounds great on paper. Pat approached me about a month and a half ago to ask if I would come in and talk to you folks about word of mouth marketing and relationship marketing, and in the topic of the conversation, she said that in a previous training, some people had made the comment that they walked out not really knowing what the other people do. And so, I think, and since nobody else is wearing a tie, guys, this is the first thing to go.
Stop right there. We all have on underwear.
Oh, that's much better. We're not playing strip poker today, folks. It's true. I've been in sales my whole life, since 17. It's funny how life goes full circle. I serve the senior care market today, both, as Ann pointed out, by owning a home care agency where we care for seniors in their homes, and we also do some training for it as well. When I was 15 years old, I washed dishes. My first honest-to-God paycheck was washing dishes in a place like Galloway Ridge. Seniors can be messy eaters. Life is funny. 2 years later, I ended up dating a caregiver for my great aunt. She was a nursing student at Elma College in Michigan. And here we go, 38 years later, and I'm back in the same industry. What we're going to talk about today, folks, is making a connection with people. That's it. And remembering that connection, and then maybe leveraging it for the betterment of your business. Sounds terrible, but that's okay. Don't worry about that. So, what we want to do today is we're going to go through and we're going to talk about an elevator pitch and what is an elevator pitch and why you need one. We're going to talk about relationship marketing and then word of mouth advertising. Technology problems. Oh, there we go. First, let's see, can I see name? Ann just walked out the door. Ma'am, what's your name?
Karen?
Karen. Karen, I'm going to start out. We're going to take 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I'm going to put you all on the spot, and you're going to be the first one.
Oh, gosh.
After me. I want you to think of something that nobody else in this room knows about you. Now, me, personally, Pat called me up and said, Gavin, we'd like you to come speak. It's out at Galloway Ridge. And I said, Pat, I can't do that. And she said, well, why can't you? And I said, because I have to cross the causeway of death. Who drove out here from Raleigh today? Anybody? Anybody know the causeway that you cross over on Jordan Lake? Do you know that causeway is eating 2 motors in 2 vehicles? I hate crossing that causeway because it's cost me $6,000 or $7,000 to replace those motors. I live in fear of that causeway. So number one, I'm afraid of the causeway because it always costs me big money. I dodged a bullet apparently today. The causeway gods were out and doing something else. Number 2, I own a biodiesel production company. Believe it or not. I make my own biodiesel. So, for all of you peeps out there that have got Priuses, dude, I've got a smaller green footprint driving my Ford Excursion truck than you do with your Prius. And we do about 100 to 150 gallons a week of biodiesel. So that's 2 things that I don't think anybody in this room, Karen, knew about. Now, tell us your deepest, darkest secret that nobody knows about you.
Nobody knows. And what, it has to be a secret?
It's something that nobody knows about you.
It could be anything.
Anything. Anything at all.
I used to be a teacher for a short time.
What did you teach?
I taught Montessori.
Ah, okay. As a person with 3 children, about to be a 4th, Montessori is of high value to me because Wake County public school systems suck. There you go. You, with the sunglasses around your neck. What is your name?
Zach Prater.
Zach. Love the sunglasses, Zach. Zach, tell us your deepest, darkest secret that nobody knows about you.
Well, I manage a electronic and hip hop music producer.
Sweet. Awesome. So you get to go to New York to produce, LA, swing with a big crew?
Yeah, no, I don't touch the keyboards at all. I just help him with the management of the site and the sales of his music.
Cool. That is something I know 0 about, Zach. That is interesting. Pick on one more person. The young lady is in the black right here. What's your name? Well, you know, when you were looking down at your shoes, Megan, I thought she needs to be picked on.
Megan Coggins.
Well, hello, good morning, Miss Megan Coggins. I want to know something nobody else knows about you, Megan.
Scared of geese.
And as you should be. They are mean damn birds.
How about swans?
Swans are even worse.
Yeah.
Swan can hurt you. I was attacked by a swan in a canoe. You're afraid of geese. Okay. That's interesting, because I'm going to roll that into today's presentation for you. How to deal with somebody that's afraid of geese. Okay, so the cool thing is I now know 3 things about you folks that I can connect with you on. And this is kind of moving more in the relationship marketing thing, but you all, if I see something about producing an album, I can email it to Zach now. Or when the next goose season comes up, I am going to work with Megan on conquering that fear of geese, right? Because blasting them out of the sky is a great place to start. Karen, I got 4 kids. I need an alternative to Wake County public school system, and my wife
happens to be geeked about what the Montessori program offers. So I can tell you all about it. So you can tell me all about it. So what I've just done is mentally cataloged these things so that in the future, when I walk up to Karen, or when I walk up to Megan or Zach, I got something to talk to them about, right? Okay, we're going to come back to relationship marketing. First thing, we're going to follow up from the last meeting y'all had on an elevator pitch. Who here is familiar with what an elevator pitch is? Show. All right, great. Terrific. The vast majority of you. How many have actually got one now? For what you do in life, how many of you got one?
We have to have them because we all do meetings and get 30 seconds.
There you go. All right. When you meet somebody new, elevator pitch is as old in sales as anything. You walk into an elevator, you're staring at the people, it's a pregnant pause, it's a little uncomfortable, you introduce yourself and say, hey, my name is Gavin Densmore, I am the owner and founder of Helping Hands of America. We are Raleigh, North Carolina's oldest home care agency, and a point of distinction, our licensing division approached us 5 years ago and asked us to offer a mandatory training program to individuals starting up a home care agency or getting into the medical field of North Carolina. And we provide care to seniors in their homes 2 hours a day to 24 hours, 7 days a week. Bang! How many seconds in?
Oh, she said it's more than 30 seconds. I wasn't counting.
All right. Thanks for keeping me honest. And your name is?
Oh gosh.
What?
Mona Barker.
That's right. Thank you, Mona. Paybacks are hell.
There you go.
I just explained to you what we do. We run a home care agency. We take care of seniors in the home. And I threw in a little differentiator in the fact that out of over 1,000 home care agencies in North Carolina, we're the only one the state approached to teach and train and vet other home care agencies coming into this business. So I kind of put a little bit of credential out there on the table for those folks to think about. You each need to come up with an elevator pitch for your business, and it needs to roll off your tongue like water off a duck's back, because and I think John could teach this lesson for us, probably better than I could, because he said, I met him and he said, that's the question I wanted you to ask, because I asked him what his business is. That's pretty cool. Ann and I were coming downstairs this morning, or coming upstairs. Anyways, Lee walked us in. Lee's the security guard. I now know Lee was a cop on the DC police force up in DC, and I said, well, that must have been a really great beat. He goes, oh yeah, I work real hard at forgetting a lot of it. And Ann said, did you ever arrest Marion Barry? And he goes, yeah. Okay, so I know something about Lee. This is kind of cool. So, elevator pitch, every one of you needs to have one. You need to practice it. Sit in front of the mirror. Stand in front of the mirror and let it roll off your tongue repeatedly until you can say it without even thinking about it. John's got it down. John can do follow-up coaching for you folks on this. Questions about elevator pitch? No? All right, let's talk about differentiators for your business. You folks are here for chess. Has anybody attended heart meetings? Chatter meetings? Yeah, we got some hands going up. I kind of gave up, and I'll tell you why. I was in heart at the very, 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 very beginning. And it was unique for a while until I saw this crush of home care agencies coming in, right? And now it's just downright demoralizing. I mean, I show up and there's 3 more home care agencies serving the Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Durham market. It's like, God, I want to shoot myself.
It's too big.
It's getting too big. And kudos to Toby Bowen for making it happen. Because Toby, if you want to blame, I mean, what bragging rights? It's too big, really? God, I hate that for us, right? So I need to differentiate myself as a home care agency from all the other 100+ home care agencies in Wake County. How do I do that? Well, I have a shopping list of 10 items in my marketing kit that everybody gets that literally sets us apart from every other home care agency out there. First and foremost, we're the oldest. We're the oldest pure home care agency in the Triangle. Sandy Massey is the only other person, and Sandy's with Good Health Services, and she does staffing as well, so she's not quite pure home care. Number two, we're the only home care agency that the state approached to offer this mandatory training. We've been audited 5 times by the state. We have flown through each audit with flying colors. The last time, my nurse handled the audit, and I kept working, and the woman was walking out, and I said, well, Mary, I didn't sit in on it. How did it go? And she said, Gavin, in all the time I've been doing this, I don't think I've seen a better run home care agency. And I said, and you've been doing it, what, 2 days now? Poke a little fun at yourself, guys. She said, no, I've been doing this 5 years. So she's audited 5 years worth of agencies, and she thought that we were at the tops. I have no problem about sharing the fact that we've been audited, because all home care agencies are eventually going to get there. But because of our reputation from our audits, that's why Azzy Conley approached us to offer this mandatory training. We are the home care provider for Duke University and Duke Healthcare and Wake Med and Rex and UNC. They approached us and said, we'd like you to take care of our employee base. That's pretty flattering. And I can go on down the list. We only hire CNAs. What's your name, sir?
James Hoosh.
Hi, James. I'm Gavin. Nice to make your acquaintance. James, let's say mom and dad need some home care. And they're still independent, but they want somebody to come in and help with meal preparation and changing linens and laundry. Regardless, we're going to send your mom and dad a CNA. Now, I could send them what's referred to in our business as a companion. However, because mom and dad are probably in their 90s, something is likely to happen where they're going to need hands-on care sooner rather than later. Right now, just companion care. Well, if I introduce Michelle to your folks, and 3 months from now, mom falls and breaks her arm, at that point, I've got to pull Michelle off from your folks' care and introduce a second person. Because companions cannot do hands-on care. Well, we worked real hard at getting Michelle integrated into your family. Your family loves her. But now I got to break that relationship and start over again. Doesn't it make more sense just to start out with a CNA? So again, a differentiator. So in addition to coming up with your 30-second spiel on who you are and what makes you special, you want to throw in a couple of differentiators in there as well to set you apart from the pack. Yes?
Yeah, but this is really great, but I have a challenge that for me as I started a new business. My business is all about referrals and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So when you don't know me, and I am new in business, what would you recommend that it would be my differentiator so you'll say, I really, something to connect with me and say, I like Mona, I'm going to hire her.
Yep. It's one of the toughest.
Yeah, I mean, for you, you can say, you brag about how long you've been in business, et cetera, but yeah.
Passion. Are you passionate about what you do?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think passion will make you more committed to seeing your clients taken care of?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But we all have passion in this business. Otherwise, we won't be
on the contrary. And I don't think people use the word passion, Mona, as frequently as you might suspect. I don't walk in when I meet people and say, I am passionate about eldercare. I take my job very seriously, but I never use the word passionate. It's a strong word. It evokes all sorts of images in my mind. So if you come in and you say, what do you do, Mona? What is your job?
I manage the moving and the downsizing process for the older adults and visitor patients.
You need to meet my friend Karen, because she does the same thing. All right. My name is Mona, and I own Downsizing Incorporated, and we are passionate about downsizing seniors out of their big houses and into a condo. We love the service, or we love the smiles that we get from our clients when they walk in that condo for the first time and they see their house laid out and it's all set up. All right, pretty close to 30 seconds. Passion and love. There's an old expression in sales. Fake it until you make it. God's honest truth. Trust me, I've been doing this for a long time. I just had the same conversation with a gentleman down in Jacksonville, Florida yesterday who wants to start a home care agency. But he said, I want a value proposition that will differentiate me from all the other new home care agencies out there. And you know what I emailed him back? I emailed him back and said, and we're talking $20,500 potentially for my business. I said, there is no silver bullet, Greg, in home care. What you do is you're passionate about what you do. You never drop the ball on a referral. Because in home care, referrals are a lot of our business, and it's going to be a lot of your business as well. You never drop the ball on them, and you earn your reputation day in and day out. And when you get to the point, 2-3 years down the road, where you start developing some of these differentiators, then you can really start doing that. But it's one of the toughest things, Mona, in this world to come up with. Yes, ma'am.
I would say, take experiences that you've had in other jobs or why you've been so good at that, and it makes you qualified to do this as well.
There you go. Some of the things that you can be passionate about in your life, you're bringing forth into this new career. And you share that. Whatever your 30-second pitch is, folks, you got to be excited about it. You've got to be able to share the fact that you love what you do. It's got to come shining through. It's like a smile. You ever talk to somebody on the phone and you can hear them smiling on the phone? Right. You want the same thing. Okay, so relationship marketing. What is it? How does it apply to sales? And how can it help you on a day-to-day basis? Who here in the room is familiar with geriatric care managers? All right, about half the crew. I can name pretty much all the geriatric care managers in this area. The closest one I can think of is Lori Ray over in Cary, North Carolina. Lori is has been doing geriatric care for at least the past 10 years, I know of. I know that her hobby is riding hunter jumpers. They're horses. Scares me. I don't like horses. And her husband, Steve, flies for American Airlines. So, when I see an article or I see something relating to hunter jumper horses, or I see something about American Airlines, I can cut and paste that and email it to Lori, because I know that's going to be a focus on what she does. Let me back up. What's relationship marketing? It's forming a one-on-one relationship with individuals, getting to know them, and then leveraging that for your business or leveraging it for the relationship. I know this young lady is afraid of geese?
I'll say ride horses.
You do.
I wish I'd have told you that. 'Cause I feel like I'm getting picked on because of the geese.
Want me to pick on somebody else? I can pick on Ann. Ann and I go back a long way. She's got pretty thick skin. Your goal is to get to know new people that can refer business to you. The more you cement that relationship, the better off your relationship is going to be. Okay? We deal in the senior care market. There are a lot of social workers in our business, right? Social work background. Case managers, discharge planners, geriatric care managers, counselors. I'm a business guy at heart. I'll be right up front with you folks. I'm not going to make an excuse about that. I read the Wall Street Journal every morning. And as I go through the Wall Street Journal, I'm reading it for an educational purpose, to learn what's going on in the news world and the business world. And I'm also scanning it for stuff that pertains to my friends. Because what I'll do is with my iPhone, I can go in, after I read it in the print edition, I can go into my iPhone, I can find that article on the Wall Street Journal app, and I can email it to myself. When I get to the office, I can then pull it up on the screen, cut and paste it, and then email it to my chum. Now, the most recent example of this is I've got a buddy that works for a company called SoCal Media. And Randy's about as niche focused as you can get. He does advertising for automobile dealerships. And there was an article about a week and a half ago on General Motors and their advertising campaign with their dealerships. And so I sent myself the link and I forwarded it on to Randy. It just shows that I'm thinking about Randy in my day-to-day activities. And hey, I found this. Maybe you haven't seen it yet. You might find it of interest. So at the end of the day, relationship marketing is about keeping other people in mind that you work with on a day-to-day basis. Is anybody here familiar with Comfort Keepers and Andre Vetrano? And you just stop raising your hand, man. I know you know her.
We're on this side of the causeway.
See, I can't come here. It's like,
Cars break down.
my car's breakdown cost me $8,000. Okay, Andre owns the Comfort Keepers in Raleigh. And she's also, every year, she does a hot dog sale to raise funds for the Memory Walk. Now, she's a competitor just like Ann is. But I specifically go down and spend $10 with Andre every year to buy a couple of dogs and a couple of sodas and a couple of bags of chip and bring it back to the office for my nurse and I. I'm supporting her because she's a good person. I'm building that relationship. Now, relationship marketing is constantly thinking about your peeps, right? So in that case, I spent $10 with her and it's going to a good cause. The Alzheimer's, ALZNC now, I guess. Ann Browning. Her colleague is Nicole Bruno, and Nicole is the founder of Guiding Lights. I just went up to Guiding Lights 2 weeks ago. Never been there. And they've been around for what, 3 years now? They're really making headway. On my list of to-dos is ALZNC has a dementia Alzheimer's training video that if you've never seen, you ought to buy it. Spend $100, go buy it. It is Chipa and Melanie doing their shtick on Alzheimer's training. There you go.
Would you say the name again?
ALZNC. They're in Raleigh. And they have an awesome training video. If you can't see Melanie and Teepa live in person, the video is probably the second best thing. But one of the things I've got to do is I've got to send an email to Alice Watkins, who's the director, and say, you know what, Guiding Lights has got these training videos sitting on their shelf, and I didn't see your Alzheimer's DVD there. Why don't you do a good turn for Guiding Lights and give them one of your CDs that they can put on the shelf? So I have to put that email together. Now, Alice loves it because it spreads the word of ALZNC. Nicole ought to love it because she's getting an awesome training video for her caregivers. And it's not sitting on the shelf right now. Do I get anything out of it? Maybe, maybe not. I certainly don't get anything financial. It's a good turn. But it's a good turn to help other folks out. And that kind of rolls into relationship marketing as well. Yes, ma'am.
If you are the only person in your company, which is what I am,
Okay.
and I want it to be that way
Yes, ma'am.
forever,
Good.
where does that time window appear to do what you're talking about? I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm really asking a really
Serious question.
holy God, yes.
Great question. She asked, how do you, if you're a sole proprietor, if you're the only person in the shop, how do you make time to do this, turn this good deed for the day? It goes on your to-do list. I'm a famous, well, I'm not famous for it, but I'm a dyed-in-the-wool list person. When I get up in the morning, after I drink my coffee, after I read the Wall Street Journal, before I even get out the house, I've got 7 or 8 things on my to-do list that I've already thought of that I've got to get knocked out. Every day, if I don't finish the list, it's the beginning of the next list for the following day. I went over and visited Guiding Lights 2 weeks ago. That's where I was going to do it. Felt a little bit guilty that I haven't done it yet, but it's still sitting out there and it's still perking in the back of my mind. When I get 5 minutes to put the email together, I'll fire it off. And I'll probably copy Nicole on it and I'll say, Nicole, get over to the ALZNC and pick up the DVD from Alice. Alice, you want to give her a copy, don't you? Because you're a nice person.
Guiding Lights has their own dementia training.
I know, but they don't have
I know
They don't have Melanie, they don't have Teepa, and they need it. So, that's how you do it, is just, if you don't get it done today, get it done tomorrow. My father is retired. And I go, what did you do today, Dad? And he goes, well, I sat and watched golf. Well, what about painting that house? Well, you know, the beauty about being retired is that there's always tomorrow. And I need something to do then, too. You're going to need something to do tomorrow as well. And the following day, and the day after that. So, if you can't get it knocked out today, kick it downstream to next week. The following day. That's how you do it. The article for SoCal Media, my buddy Randy in General Motors, I read the Wall Street Journal, saw this article, picked up my iPhone, went out to the app, found the article, and emailed it to myself. It takes about 45 seconds. I put my phone back down and went back to reading the journal again. So some things are real easy. You just do them right then and there. Other things you kind of have to wait on. But from a relationship marketing perspective, inadvertently, I've just given a plug to Alice Watkins and ALZNC, and I've given a plug to Nicole Bruno. So maybe one of you peeps is going to go out and mention, say, hey, we saw this guy, Gavin Densmore, spoke to us this morning, mentioned what a great outfit Guiding Lights is in the ALZNC. Well, word gets around. And if you do it enough times, do it in and out, and you mention what good people they are, it tends to come back to you.
There's a lot, I'm thinking there's a lot of us in this room that are just sole proprietors that have to fit all that stuff in. I'm one, you're one, well, you've got your wife, so you have to come. She takes care of the rest.
Well,
But there's many, many of us that have to do the whole 9 years, and then of course work for me, I have to also work the moves in. But I do the other stuff too. And you're right, lists are helpful.
God is not making any more time, is he? No, he's blessed us with being here on earth, but he's not giving us any more time. Ann has been in my office 100 times. How much staff do I have in my office, Ann?
Zero.
There you go. I'm not a sole proprietor. I've got a registered nurse who I want to minimize as much as I have to pay her because I can't cover her expense.
Right.
My wife, who might put in 20 hours a week as our HR director and CFO, but now that the kids are out of school, guess who's at home? And my admin, Samantha Poulias, who, God bless Samantha, is the best thing that has ever happened to me outside of my wife, because Sam can get it done. You want a good piece of advice? Go hire an admin for a whopping $8 an hour, $9 an hour. You find somebody like Samantha Poulias and she will change your life. Because I can give Sam a project and I don't care what it is and I know she will get it done. That's probably the best piece of advice you can walk out of here today is if you're pressed for time, I bring Sam in 12 hours a week. Sam cost me 12 times 9, about $100 a week. And Monday and Tuesday this week, she was over in Manchester, England. So she wasn't even in Monday or Tuesday. She'll be in today, and I'll find a task for her. Best piece of advice, find somebody, find your own Samantha Poulias, and delegate to her.
Hey, Gavin, does she do all your staffing coordination too?
No, that would be me. I do the scheduling. Because after 14 years of doing this, staffing coordinators don't really care at the end of the day if they get the job done or not. They're still making their hourly rate, right? Pardon?
Not if you hire a good staffing coordinator. They're the brunt of your business. And if you
I-
hire someone who doesn't care, you hire the wrong person.
No, I wouldn't say
I've had
care.
many staffing coordinators through the agencies I've used.
Mm.
And they're the brunt of that. They're the right hand of that.
Some are good and some are not.
Tell me about it. But you also compound the fact that I'm a cheap rascal. I'm Scottish. And as my father likes to say, I'm tighter than bark on a tree. I'll do the scheduling for my own agency. Because when I'm talking to the clients, I can say, Karen, I know exactly who I'm going to send you because I do the scheduling. And I want them calling me if they're going to call out. And it's not a whole lot of effort on my part.
I had a question about something you mentioned earlier. You talked about your marketing kit and everything. I was wondering, what is your marketing kit and who gives it?
Anybody and everybody as frequently as possible. I wish I'd have brought one. It is a green 9 by 12 folder. It says Helping Hands of America across the front, emblazoned in gold foil and embossed. And our logo is pressed out on it, so it's kind of, I guess that's embossed. Inside it goes our certificate of insurance. I start there because how many of y'all are insured and bonded? I'm not seeing a whole lot. That's scary.
How can you not be insured about it and have a business?
Because they aren't.
How's that?
Everybody, I'm not going to go there. Certificate of insurance. I email mine out every year. Again, she left, but it's on my to-do list. I got to email mine out to all 900 professional contacts I've got in the triangle. Our pricing. what differentiates us are 10 items that differentiates us. I want them to see that. Nothing sells like color. Right? This is pretty non-colored, so I could have done it in black and white, but that's not as flashy. A newspaper reprint for the News and Observer about 8 years ago on who we are. Our brochure, my business card, and my nurse's business card go into it. And who do I hand it out to? Anybody and everybody. Because it's not doing any good sitting in my office.
So, well, I mean, I ask because, okay, so A, something like that isn't cheap. I mean, each one of those probably costs like, what, like $5? I don't know.
Oh, heavens no, it's just a paper. It probably cost $1 a folder.
With a folder.
Mhm.
I mean, because sometimes some of those trifold brochures, you know, you get those printed out, those are like $1 a piece or something. And then if you stop by doctor's offices, it can often be very challenging to get past the front desk in a doctor's office to actually get to the doctor's to read what you're doing.
Yep.
It's just about a challenge, and then as well as a marketing guy, figuring out what your return on that investment is. Like, what is the actual rate of people looking at that stuff that you're handing out, and how justifiable is it cost?
Okay. And your name is?
Joshua.
Joshua. What was the first thing I did after Ann introduced me? Come on. Thank you. Karen remembers that. First impressions count, Joshua. So, if I'm only getting one opportunity for them to look at my marketing material, I want it to be as good looking, as professional, as flashy as I possibly can the first time out. Because it may be the only time they ever look at it. So, do I mind spending money on marketing materials? Oh, heavens no. I can't give you a specific return on investment like I can with other sales marketing tools on my marketing stuff, but I guarantee you I'll never, ever, ever, ever drop the ball on spending money on marketing materials. And my point is, get them out of your office, folks. Because they're not doing any good there. They need to be out in the field. I just took 76 of them by Wake Med and stuffed them in every mailbox in their case management department. I'd rather have them in their mailbox than sitting on the credenza in my office. Because they're not bringing me any clients in my credenza. So get them out there, and don't be afraid to spend money on your marketing materials.
What about other forms of marketing approaches, like other media? Have you ever tried that stuff? What have you found on return from that?
I'm not going to go there. Give me a call, get my business card, send me an email, and I'm happy to talk with you at length about it. But Joshua, this isn't the venue, because Pat, I live in fear of. She's going to make me come back over the Causeway of Death to explain to her why I didn't get through word of mouth marketing. Okay, so, and at the end we'll have questions and answers, and I'm more than happy to spend as much time with you as possible, as need be, before we get out of here. Okay, word of mouth advertising. Everybody knows word of mouth advertising, right? Do good for your customers, and they're going to talk about you. Apparently, there's a whole world beyond what I just told you. Did you know there is a word of mouth marketing association? Who'd have thunk? I was really surprised last night when I surfed that and I found it. And we can scroll down here. View our case studies. Holy moly. How do you make a case study of doing good for your customers and then they turn around and tell you about other people? We've all heard the analogy, if you do bad for somebody, they're going to tell 10 people. Right? That kind of comes back to never dropping the ball on your clients or referrals. Number 2, if you do good for somebody, they're only going to tell 3 people. So there are things that you can do. And how do I get here? How do you get to word of mouth advertising? All right, let's go through our agenda first. What is word of mouth advertising? Zach, tell me what it is.
It's whenever you do good for your client and then they talk about your business and services with other people in your community.
Perfect. Zach could teach this course. How do we get there? Well, that's a horse of a different color. You do great for your customers. Makes sense. We have a client, 24/7 client. She's 93 years old. I am on the phone with my 93-year-old client every day telling her who I have scheduled virtually for every shift coming in. It drives me bonkers. Their billing is through a long-term care company. Anybody deal with long-term care companies on insurance billing? Is it any fun? Because your client is not going to believe that the long-term care company goes out of their way to hire idiots. But when you're 35 out of 50 attorney generals are investigating long-term care companies. Can't make that up. Wall Street Journal. So, do good for them, and hopefully they're going to spread the word. You can encourage this. What about sending out an email to all of your previous clients and saying, hey, we were in to take care of your mom, your dad, your sister, boom, 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 whatever it is. We want to be around another 10 years. We could really use your help. We did a great job for your family member while they were alive and we were caring for them. Would you mind sharing with us or sharing our name with your top 5, with 5 of your friends? Why not ask them?
I get, since only 3, I've done over 400 moves and only 3 of them have computers, it would be tough to do sending out emails. But I get nice letters.
All right.
I keep them in my file, which have been great.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. And then yeah, they're wonderful, and they are very good at writing wonderful referral letters.
So the question is, how can we leverage your referral letters to bring you more business?
Well, they can go on, like you just said, they can go on the website.
Absolutely. Yeah. What about video testimonials? Anybody into video testimonials? No? Is it tacky? Not really. We cared for a gentleman out over the Bridge of Death, Causeway of Death, here in Apex, and she just put Dad into a facility, Alzheimer's. And Lynn emailed gushing about the aids that we sent out and the job that they did. And I said, Lynn, thank you. I will pass that on to the ladies. Would you be up with the idea of me coming out and shooting a video testimonial of how the aids did and the impact we had on your dad's life and your life? And she said, absolutely. Come on out. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, folks, what's a video worth? 1 million? Think about it. And I would unabashedly put up a video testimonial on my website about the job that we did. That, again, is on my to-do list. I just have to make it happen. So, how do you get to word-of-mouth advertising? Just do good for your clients every day. Now, if you want to take a deeper dive into this, I wasn't aware of this, but here we go. Word-of-mouth Marketing Association, and then the other one is wordofmouth.org. I love search engines. I love the internet. There's so much out there. Now, last night in cruising through these websites, here you can go out and download case studies and you can download resources here. Uh-oh, lost the connection. Let's go back. Oh, come on now. Damn. I hate it when that happens. Alright, well, we're going to use my little network connection down here Galloway dropped me. All word of mouth starts with a topic of conversation, a simple, portable, repeatable idea that gets people talking. And this goes on. If you've never done word of mouth before, there's a worksheet for you to go out to. And they actually have a worksheet that you can go through, fill in, and start working through your first word of mouth advertising campaign. That's pretty cool. So, I would recommend that if you folks want to expand your knowledge on word of mouth advertising, and I'll be completely honest with you. When Pat asked me to come and speak to you about word of mouth advertising, I needed just basically what everybody else did. Well, it's customers saying good things about you and passing along. After having spent an hour or so researching this last night, I'm going to do a little deeper dive into it. In fact, Mona, I'm going to put Samantha on word of mouth advertising. So I'm just kind of cataloging this in the back of my mind. This is perfect for Sam to take on as a little project. But right now we just kicked off our whole Twitter kind of advertising marketing stuff. So we're in the midst of learning Twitter. But this will go on the to-do list of things that goes in the arsenal of how to drive business into your senior care business. All right. 9:45. Questions about word of mouth advertising?
Just a comment, it's very helpful. It really is. Public marketing, especially in the
You will never find an easier prospect to sell on your services than one that was referred by their friend. Guarantee it. We get a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, we probably get 5 clients a year from word of mouth. Not a whole lot, but 5 clients that I didn't have. And yes, ma'am.
I was going to say, and it really does work. My mom had to have a shoulder replaced in January, and I was down in South Carolina, and a gentleman came by to bring a get one card or something like that, a neighbor who she lives in an older neighbor building. And I said, oh yeah, she's still at the rehab, we're going to bring her home, and she'll have home health. And he said, oh yeah, we used so-and-so, and our nurse was so-and-so, and they're the best. I mean, I didn't solicit, I didn't anything, and he just white out. And one of the other neighbors said, oh yeah, and John recommended so-and-so. So he's telling everybody.
Did you end up using John's recommendation?
I think it did end up being that agency, but it was
A different nurse?
it was because that's who the rehab recommended.
Okay. Pardon, Karen?
The rehab's word of mouth.
There you go.
You know what else I think is nice? I just got, I did a move for a gentleman, and then I moved his brother, and now I'm moving a neighbor. They all went to a retirement community. So I'm going to send the original gentleman and his wife $100 gift certificate to a restaurant, and I think that's a really nice way of doing thank you.
Of saying thank you.
And word of mouth.
Right on. Yep.
And I don't think there's enough of that out there.
Had a conversation with a gentleman up in New York City last night about 7:30, and he's looking to start a home care agency. And he said, "What about paying people to for referrals?" And I said, "If you're buying leads, it's literally the same thing. We subscribe to most all home care agencies I know subscribe to lead sources.
Right.
Certainly Home Watch Caregivers does probably. We do too. So you're kind of paying for those leads already. What we tend to do is, and I explained this to Mike, I say his name is Mike, last night. I said what we do at the end of the year is we look at where all our referrals came from for the year. And I typically do this around the 20th, Christmas time when it's slow. I'll go into the system, I'll run a report, and I'll look back over the whole year and find out where our business came from that year. And then I'll export it out to Excel, and then in Excel I can rank order it by the number of referrals. And I can see, okay, well, Durham Regional referred 8 pieces of business to me, and Jana was the 7 out of the 8, Jana was the referral source. So what I'm going to do, Karen, I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy a $100 day spa card, and I'm going to write a very nice handwritten thank you note, and I'm going to say, Jana, I just wanted to write you and tell you thank you. We got 8 pieces of business from Durham Regional and 7 came from you. A couple of them have passed away. We're still helping a couple, but I think they love the service we provided. So thank you. Oh, here's a little token. It's a gift card to a day spa. Is it a bribe? It's not at $12 a lead. It's not a bribe. It's just a nice way of saying thank you for thinking of us and referring them to us. And we'll do that for the top 7 or 8 referral sources. I don't mind spending $800 to say thank you for the amount of business that it brought in. You as marketers and salespeople and business owners need to approach every one of your sales and marketing campaigns from an ROI perspective, okay? What's ROI? Return on investment. I can talk to you about all day long about return on investment for various marketing tools that we utilize in the senior care industry. Direct mail, email marketing, dropping literature off to folks. You got to make money on it, folks, and you've got to be able to track it. That's why referral tracking is so important. If I can't remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday morning, I guarantee you, come December 20th, I'm not going to remember where Mrs. Smith came from unless I put it down somewhere. So, the mad cow disease is catching up on me. So I've got to be able to put it in our system, and I track the referrals. So it's there. When I go in to set up a new client in our system, I've customized a field that says referral source. I gotta get past that field. I can free type in Durham Regional, Rex Hospital, Farrington Village, Galloway Ridge, Pat. The more specific your answer in there, the more specific you're going to remember when you go back. Because then I can go in and say, okay, this client called in off from the direct mail piece that we sent out. Why not have that direct mail campaign cost me $8,000, and I got 4 pieces of business off from it, and within QuickBooks, I can then go in and look at the profitability of each client. In QuickBooks, you can do that. It'll do it for you. And I can find out, did I cover my $7,000 expense for the direct mail campaign? And the answer is yes. Yes, ma'am.
So what CRM system do you use? Is it
CRM.
client relationship management?
I use SAP.
Okay.
Now, I'm being facetious. I use QuickBooks.
Is it CRM system?
No, it's not. I used to sell CRM systems for about 16 or 17 years. I'm really intimately familiar with CRM. And for my business, it is so overpowered, it's disgusting. And I did sell SAP, and I did use SAP. We use QuickBooks, and our leads come in. I don't enter them into a CRM system up front. I run that off from paper. And I've got a folder, and every one of them gets 3 hole punched. I will call them 3 times. I will email them indefinitely, but if they don't call me back after 3 times, I don't try and call them any longer. And it's just I've done it that way for 30 years. And what I find is it's almost more effort to put it into a CRM system than it's worth for me.
So you don't send out a monthly newsletter to all your contacts?
Oh, no. No, I do email marketing. And I only email them when I've got something that they might want to see. I don't want to see somebody's newsletter every month. Got to get them from about 18 different franchise organizations. I've done this. I don't want to sound ungrateful. For the past 2.5 years, I've traveled the United States doing sales and marketing training for the senior care industry. I've trained hospice organizations. I've trained nursing homes. I've trained home care agencies. And so they tend to put my email list in their newsletter. I don't read it. So when you do newsletters or you do email marketing, be real careful of overdosing your folks. The reputation I prefer to develop, and I think I've worked at very hard, is I only email content out when it's unique. Because I want people to open it up and I want people to read it. Y'all are familiar with Heart. If you knew the number of people that have walked up to me at Heart meetings and said, here's my business card, can I get on your distribution list? Sure. It's going to take me a couple of weeks to get in there, but you will end up on my contacts list. Then when I see an article in the Wall Street Journal that pertains to Duke and some Alzheimer's research that they're doing, and Duke gets a lot of press in the Wall Street Journal for the work that they do in Alzheimer's, what I'll do, again, iPhone, take that sucker out of the Wall Street Journal, email me the link to it, I'll cut and paste it, put it in the email program, and bang, out it goes to 900 folks. And then, in the subject line, shout out to Duke and the Alzheimer's program coming out with a new Alzheimer's drug. I mean, come on, folks. Alzheimer's is endemic in our industry. So we want to know about this stuff. So I'm real careful and selective on what I email out. The next one I do, seriously, will be our certificate of insurance. Who here is familiar with resources for seniors? Don't raise your hand. All right. David Cottingham's the executive director. And David and I go a long way back. He builds custom fly rods. Oh, look! Relationship marketing, custom fly rods. I know that about David. And I happen to be a fly fisherman, a trout fly fisherman, and I tie my own flies. So we kind of have a bond there. And David calls me up about 5 years ago and says, Gavin, and this is when we were doing CAP and Medicaid. We don't do Medicaid business any longer. Gavin, are y'all insured? Not words that a small business owner wants to hear. Are you insured? Because we got clients that are taking care of resources Medicaid recipients. I go, oh, Lord. Think to myself, I go, well, David, that's a heck of a question. Why do you ask? He goes, well, we got a client up in Wake Forest, and the aide has just stolen $10,000 worth of jewelry from the daughter and gone downtown and hawked it. And I said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's not good. And when he said Wake Forest, I kind of breathed a sigh of relief because we didn't have any Medicaid cases in Wake Forest at that point. So I knew it wasn't mine. And I said, well, David, that's a great question. Yes, we are insured. We are bonded. Would not run my home care agency. To Karen's point, who would be in this business without insurance? Well, come to find out, Stephanie, the daughter, called up the home care agency owner and said, we got to talk because your aide just walked out with $10,000 worth of my jewelry. And I need the name of your insurance company, and we need some help here. Agency owner said, we're not insured. We don't have insurance. So, am I a cynic? Not really. Do I believe that everybody's insured and bonded and spending $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 a year on insurance? No. I think they're liars. I'll be the first one to say it. That's why I email out a copy of my certificate of insurance to all of my contacts. I'm going to wave that flag proudly, folks. And David Cotton, Jim, is to blame for it at Resources for Seniors. And he's the one that put me onto it. We sat through an audit with the state. That's the one that I sat through. And I said, well, Dion, how did it go? And Dion said, well, an agency your size would typically take us 2 solid days, and we got through it in 7 hours. And I said, well, that sounds pretty good. And I said, did you notice anything else? And she said, well, yeah, every one of your employee files on the back jacket had a criminal background check on the employee. And I said, that's the law. And she said, just because it's the law, folks, doesn't mean you do it. So, are all businesses created equally? No, they're not. And it's your job to subtly get out there and share those messages with folks on a day-to-day basis. One last question, then we're going to have to wrap it up because we're getting the signal from Farrington and Galloway. We have to close it down. No other questions? I can't tell you thank you enough. I really enjoyed this. Y'all have my business card. If you have questions on sales and marketing, give me a call. Joshua, I'll expect an email from you. If I don't get one, I'm gonna have to send Ann out after you. You don't want that. Folks, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.